Hi, welcome back to Aggie Cakes. In this video, what I'm going to show you is how I made a marijuana carved cake. The top of the leaf is fondant. What I first did is I drew it out on a paper. It has to be a pretty big paper if you're going to make a pretty big cake. And then after that, I put tape on the back of it. That way the paper wouldn't touch the fondant, and of course the tape I did clean it off before putting it on top of the fondant. I first used a fondant tool to make the cutouts that I was gonna make later with the knife that I'm doing now. So I tried to make it as genuine as possible, but it is kind of cartoonish, so it still looked good at the end, at the end of the once I finish the cake, basically. So if I see more things, I'll go ahead and let you guys know, but in the meantime you can just kind of watch. Okay. Okay, so this tool that I'm using, I'm gonna attach a picture of it. It's fairly cheap. I'm thinking it's like $2 or so. It does come with three little wheels, I guess, and they have different shapes to them. So basically I'm using just a sharp round edge to make the cutouts of the leaves. It's pretty neat. Okay, so what I realized was that I didn't record on how I made the eyeballs. So I use a measuring spoon, like the plastic one that you see towards the back. It's kind of like a turquoise color. I put in the fondant there since it does look kind of like a half a sphere. I put it in there, and then I took out the fondant and made a perfect half sphere for the eyes. So you could always just roll it up in a little ball and then cut it in half as well. But I wanted it to look really, like I wanted to have a perfect shape, like half a sphere shape. So that's basically the way I did it. Okay, so I don't know if you guys noticed, but I use a lot of the piping tips that I have. So that one's the biggest piping tip I have, and I'm using it for the eyelids for the eyeballs, obviously. So you don't have to go out, purchase all these cookie cutters and stuff like that. Sometimes what you have in your, in your pantry and stuff like that, like just circles and stuff, that's good enough. I mean, I always use the back end of my piping tip because they're all sorts of circle sizes. So that's what I basically did. Okay, what I just finished cutting out earlier, like I rolled it out and cut it out, that's what's gonna go on the bottom of the eyeball. It's the other part of our eyelid, I guess. I'm sorry, of our eye. Okay, so the same paper that I use for the cutting out of the leaf, I use for the cake. I carved it out, and then I started to frost. I believe that's the first layer of frosting, and then I started to make it look a little bit nice and neat. It did looked a little crazy for a little bit. But towards the end, it doesn't really matter as much. You want to try to get very clean edges, because that's your work. But at the end, you are going to put the leaf on top. So it's okay if it's not like super duper perfect. And it's really difficult actually to get really clean lines because of all the carvings that I did. So something that's super carved, like that you did a lot of carving on it, it's always going to be way more difficult than something that's just like round, circular, or just squared. So this one did take a while. I did cut out a lot of the video, just because, it's just the same thing over and over and over again. Just going over it, so it was something very tedious. Okay, so even after that, I kept on frosting and frosting until it got smoother. On here, I did put the leaf. I guess I didn't show that either. I added the eyeball. I put the the red food color on the eyeballs. I did a little blunt for the mouth. The only thing about this leaf that I was not content with was that it wasn't hard enough, but I got like literally a 1 day note, like half a day notice for this cake. So of course, fondant's not gonna dry in like, actually, let's say a day. It's not gonna dry. If they would have told me like, okay, on Monday and then I do it for that Saturday, then it's gonna be perfectly hard and it's gonna stay in that shape. Like the sides were gonna be like floppy, like you can see on the video, but it still looked good. What I'm using there to paint the fondant is, of course, edible, which is the food coloring. I do believe I use 3 colors. I use green, brown, and yellow. And you always want to use, like, if you want to make it as realistic as possible, you want to mix in colors. For those of you that are, painters, that you paint, or you're an artist and stuff like that, you would probably know about that. And we were all taught in school at some point, when you mix colors, you get this color, etc. So that's basically how I did it all around, until I felt that, okay, this is the way I like it to look. I wanted it to look very, very real and authentic. Of course, cartoonish type as well. Okay, well, last but not least, I did do a border at the bottom of the cake. This is a picture of the final result. I liked it. What do you guys think? Well, anywho, I appreciate every single one of you that have that are following me and that are supporting me. And if you like it, give it a thumbs up. And if you're not already subscribed, just click subscribe. It's free. I was told it was free. Bye, guys.